anytime you're looking for fish in pre-spawn situations and you feel like they're getting ready to make that push, and what I mean by a push is a lot of times they'll start on the corners and the ditches and everything, and they'll set up in there, and then when they make the push, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to swim out of that 10 to 15 foot of water and all of a sudden jump up from the bank and just sit down. They come up there and they do what I call, they're like a little bird dog. They sniff around a little bit. They're looking for it's a good place for them to spawn, but they also come up there, and this is a time you can really catch a big sack of fish shallow. They come up there looking around for that key place, but they're also looking, it's like a search and destroy mission. If there's bait up there, brim, shad, whatever, they're up there eating. They're just eating, and they're taking over an area. I've seen fish come in and flood an area, and that's the time of the year where a spinnerbait absolutely shines. I'm throwing this double willow leaf by Buckeye, and I love a double willow leaf this time of the year if the water's not really colored up. It gives up a lot of flash. It's a sight bait where they can react to it, and I can cover a lot of water. I can bring it by cover and make that fish trigger. Those fish that time of the year will set up on a key piece of cover, and they'll expand their zone. They'll come out and they'll chase a bait. And I don't know of a better bait when they move in shallow than a spinnerbait to cover water and find that concentration of fish. Let's run through here and see if we can't catch one. Spinnerbait fishing, it's not that complicated. The thing is, you just got to pick it up and throw it and cover a lot of water. And it's going to catch you some quality fish, can catch you tournament grade fish, but it's also going to show you where they're at. So many times in spinnerbait fishing, I'll catch one or two fish and really figure out where a group is, and then I can go back and dissect and put it together. You know, speed up, find them, slow down and catch them kind of deal. Spinnerbait fishing that we did today, it's the tackle that I use for all my spinnerbait fishing. I've got a Series 2 that I've designed for American RodSmiths. It's actually a Mag 2 rod. It's a team series, 7-foot rod. It's basically a medium heavy. It's got plenty of backbone, but a nice tip where you can stay really accurate. And again, on this particular rod, it's the new VR17 series on the handles. Golf grip technology. It's really unique and it's different. It's going to add a lot of grip, sweaty, cold, hot, anywhere in between days, and it's going to wear, I have a feeling, a lot better than cork. And another neat feature with this rod is, at the end of the year or 2 or 3 years, you can re-grip it just like a golf club. Now, spinnerbait fishing, I do something a little bit different when it comes to reel choices. Again, it's the XS1000 by Ardent, but I like a 5-to-1 gear ratio. I'm not a high-speed guy. It's easier for me to do my normal winding with a 5-to-1 than it is to slow down on a 6-3-to-1. And I also feel like with a 5-to-1, I've got a little bit more power. Spinnerbait fishing, to me, one of the biggest keys is slow it down. It's not reeling it and burning it back. You got to slow that thing around the cover, fluff it around there, kill it, start it, stop it. A slower gear ratio reel helps me do that a lot better. We're starting to hear more and more about a lure from Buckeye Lures called the mop jig. And it's got its name because of how long this skirt is. It's a mop. It literally looks like a mop, and it's hand tied. It's a lot of the old-fashioned round living rubber. And people are like, what's the applications? You know, we've got finesse jigs, we got football jigs, we got flipping jigs. What's the deal with the mop jig? Why is it such a good fish catcher? What makes it unique? Several unique features on this thing, and a lot of it's got to do with the length of the skirt. With this skirt being that long, and then you take a trailer like the Zoom Super Chunk, you add all that together, look at the size this bait has. It's a big profile, big bait. That's why it draws big fish. It also is unique in the fact of its action. The head that we have here, it's a stand-up head. In other words, when it hits the bottom, it's going to stand straight up. All this skirt, when that head hits, it flares. It just comes wide open. It seems like it just never quits. And it's really dynamite on post-spawn fish. Post-spawn fish, for the most part, when they first come off the bed and they sit up in that shallow water, they're very lethargic, but they want to feed. They want to smoke something, but they don't really want to chase. And when this big jig get cast up there on them clay or rocky points, and you hop it and you drag it off, and all of a sudden you let that skirt do its thing, and that big trailer sitting there looking at them, it's such a big, easy target because it's slow and it just drifts through the water. It's really not a hop. A mop doesn't hop. The mop just glides and it flows and it expands. It's a unique action of any of the jigs out there, and it's drawing more and bigger fish, especially in a post-spawn situation. Seems like a lot in our fishing now. We want something that's really minute, small, or something large. The mop jig was created for a big profile, bigger than most jigs. You can tell with the skirt here, that's it. It looks like a mop and it comes way down. The trailer that I use all the time on this thing is a Zoom Super Chunk. You add all this together and you've got a heck of a profile for a jig. As far as tackle that I use with this, I'm 15-pound vicious fluorocarbon. Again, this particular technique or this particular lure, it's all about making a long cast. And a lot of times I'm using this in really shallow, clear water. I want to make it a long cast, get way away. Fluorocarbon helps me on the hook set on that. 15-pound with that. Rod reel, it's my Magnum casting rod, 7.5 foot series, American RodSmiths. The reel, Ardent XS, 6.3 XS 1000, 6.3 to 1 gear ratio. And also too, new this year on our American RodSmiths rods that we have, we've got the VR17. We've taken the Goff grip technology and we've added it to these rods. It's going to make for a more durable rod, and it's also going to make a rod on them rainy days that you've really got a good grip. I think this right here is soon to be the standard in rod and reels.